Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into today's fourth video. We're going to have a look at the weather for 10 to 14 days for today's fourth video. Day 10 will take us to the 18th of February, and we'll be able to set it up beyond that. We'll be able to set up GFS and ECM ensembles. Ready to try a couple of weeks. Have a look at CFS V2 at the end of the video. For the next 4 weeks, gets us into early March. I should get time back for you in a moment. Just to say that first video today was our 6 UK weather forecast. We will also release a weekend forecast and the each episode for today. Check out all of today's videos and content. Thank you so much everyone for doing that. We've reached 19.5k subscribers as well, by the way. Have now hit 19,500. We've got to put on around 494.5 to get ourselves to 20k. We're going to push on, hopefully, maybe, who knows, to 20,000 subscribers as soon as we possibly can. Please give us a sub, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much, everyone, for doing that. Right, okay, going to start off very quickly with Stratosphere. Things beginning to look a little bit more interesting Stratosphere-wise. Again, so the blue colours are cold temperatures at 10 HPA over the Arctic and over the North Pole as well. That's the Stratospheric polar vortex. Displacement event of the PV due to this, or SPV, due to this warming from Siberia into Canada, pushing those blue colours out into Europe, North Atlantic, and northern parts of Europe as well. So sorry everyone. That carries on into the more extended range, but then we start getting this next warming appearing focused on the Atlantic and Europe, and that starts to intensify more as we get to the 24th of February. We see a very, very much weakened, stretched and distressed SPV there, really being stretched to its very absolute limit and looking like it's imminently going to split, actually. So this warming, 24th February, could be the one that's going to do the job and kill off the stratospheric polar vortex. And SPV killer at the end of February is probably not going to be very good news for the spring, I have to say. So particularly the earlier part of the spring, I'd anticipate if this comes off, could well be seeing more northern blocking and cold weather through March and possibly into April as well. So this could be quite a extended winter and quite a delayed spring. But of course, this is extended range, it's unreliable time frame stuff, and we'll just have to keep monitoring, see how that plays out. We'll keep you updated. Right, so latest wind from that from earthandoilschool.net shows that we're bringing in easterly winds again today. High pressure dominating over Scandinavia back into western Russia, and it's bringing in this very dull and damp easterly wind with a trough just down to our south. Once easy winds get going by a Scandinavian high, they can be very persistent, take a lot of shifting, and this is going to be one of those examples of that. Going to see easterly winds on and off through the next week, possibly two. Right, central temperature is now sitting at 4.8, that's just 1 degree. Above the 61 to 1990 average. It's provisional to yesterday, to the 7th of February. That's going to carry on ticking down, I think, over the next week, as we have got more cold weather to come. These were GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles the next couple of weeks. We're at Buxton today. So the red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for Buxton. Starting off a little bit colder than average over the next few days. Slight recovery in the upper air temperatures around the middle part of the week. And then maybe a cooling trend at the end of next week and into next weekend. And that weekend, around the 16th of February, could be shaping up to be really quite cold indeed. More about that later. You can see that the thick green line, which is the GFS midnight operation run, falls away and becomes bitterly cold for a time. Now, I've actually got one on time. There we go, down to minus 15 at 850 HPA. Possibly signs of a bit of a recovery in the upper air temperatures by the last week of February, but of course that is a long, long way out and unreliable. There's plenty of scattering in there, so we can't discount these ensemble levels up here that are milder, but it does look as though in the mid-range, the GFS has trended colder today. Precipitation-wise, we see quite a few precipitation spikes. What happened to a dry spell? If we have a look at Snow Row for Buxton, quite a few snow spikes. Sorry again, everyone. But remember, bear in mind that Buxton is at very high elevation and is therefore just about the snowiest place in England, I think. Well, temperature anomaly is up to day 5, 13th February, coming out a bit colder than average. A 6 to 10 day time frame temperature anomaly actually starts to intensify a little bit there and become colder still. Precipitation anomalies up to day 7, which is the 15th of February, is driving average for more northern western areas, nearer normal further south and east, indicative of both east wind dragging lots of cloud and dampness. Right, let's start going through the all-important chart data, and that's what you're waiting for, I'm sure. So this is the situation with the latest UK Met Euro run for midnight on Tuesday. So Scandinavian high easterly winds continue. Now check this out as we go into the second half of the week. Start to drag in some colder air from the east. The -10 Celsius isotherm air is moving into East Anglia at midnight on Thursday, and then those cold upper air temperatures flood across England and Wales. So it becomes colder later on next week. And that will bring an increasing risk of snow showers into southern and eastern parts of the country. And then that bitterly cold easterly wind stays with us right way into next weekend. We lose -10, but have got more bitterly cold air sitting away to our east. So increasingly cold, increasingly wintry, and an increasing risk of snow, and potentially a prolonged spell of really cold weather. It's short of a beach from the east, but it's potentially very cold there with the UK Met starting Thursday. Other models will not be in agreement with that, though. Right, okay, what's happened to my running order? Hold on, everybody. Right, there we go. Here's Icon. So I must have been so excited about that UK Met run, but I got muddled up when I get a chance to put it together. This is this morning's Icon midnight run. So again, Scandinavian high and winds in from the east on Tuesday to Wednesday and Thursday. They back to more of a southeasterly type flow. Could be quite a bit of frost at the end of the week. And then the easterly wind starts to pick up again as we get towards next weekend. That's next Saturday, bringing the -5 Celsius isotherm in from the east, but nowhere near as cold with Icon compared to the UK Met as early as Thursday. So again, there's so much uncertainty about whether we are actually going to see the cold spell intensifying and becoming more severe via this Scandinavian high. This is how we used to do things back in the 80s, you know, with just like a couple of days' notice about whether we're going to intensify a cold. It's not as bad as that, but like, you know, if we do start to intensify the cold spell as early as Thursday, that's less than a week away. You would expect, you know, Thursday to be relatively, relative agreement for Thursday. If we don't see that in the model output. So it's keeping us on our toes, as always happens when we start getting the Scandinavian high going, and we generate a lot of uncertainty. Now, this is the KMA. Again, we find that cold air, bitterly cold air, sitting just to our east there, towards the end of next week, trying to come in from the east. I think the KMA does intensify the cold spell as we go through the end of next week and into next weekend. Then tries to move low pressure in of the Atlantic. That will be a proper old snowmaker there, I think, coming up against that bitterly cold air. It's already entrenched from the east. KMA keeps us cold up to the 20th of February. Very coldest of the air, though, is actually across Eastern Europe. But I think the KMA is, intensifying the cold spell at the end of the week and into next weekend. GFS looking like this midnight run. We know this gets cold in the mid-range, so starting off not too cold, but as we go through to next weekend, that's when we begin to pull in these colder east to northeasterly winds as we strengthen the blocking up towards Greenland and Iceland. by the beginning of the following week, Monday 17th of February, really bitterly cold air is starting to establish with the -10 cells iceberg filtering in from the east. So it takes a few days longer than the UK Met, but does by day 9-10 turn bitterly cold with those east to northeast winds, which will be fitting in lots of snow from the east, well, certainly snow showers, and like -10 cells iceberg right back across the country. So a very cold day sort of 8, 9, 10 there from the GFS midnight run. Beyond that, we start to try and move lower pressure into that cold air. Could be all sorts of funny games in with that. So more unsettled into the last week of February and a bit less cold. There will be snow potential during the transition. GFS 6Z, again, we've got a little trough here in the southeast around middle part of next week. That could pep up the precipitation in the southeast, but most likely to be rain, sleet, I would have thought. Into the weekend, the high pressure again strengthens next weekend. The high pressure strengthens around Scandinavia, dragging in that colder air from the east by 10 cells iceberg, pushing into the east there at the end of next weekend into the beginning of the following week. Looking bitterly cold again around day 10, more of an east-southeasterly flow, but certainly upper air temperatures will be cold. And low pressure coming up against that cold air, really struggling. That could be snowmaker down in the south there. We're well beyond 10 days out now, of course. So a proper old battle going on as we head up towards the end of GFS 6 there. Still with high pressure basically maintained over Scandinavia and still bringing in these areas of low pressure. So all sorts of, fun and games and snow potential there as we go towards the final week of February. Right, well, if you enjoyed the video, please do like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you weren't bored doing that. Why not drop a comment? And let's say what you think about this and all of our videos, content, live streams, etc., etc. Don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids. Get them to subscribe too. We are on the grind to 20k. We've got to 19,500 subscribers. Thank you so much, everyone, for doing that for us. And let's see if we can get to 20k. Wouldn't it be epic if we could? Maybe we're going to need a beastly easterly to do that, though. We'll see. Right, okay, GM. Again, high pressure over Scandinavia and bringing those easterly winds on Tuesday, but they're not particularly cold. And the easterly stays with us throughout next week. Into next weekend, start to try and bring in some lower pressure from off the Atlantic. But a real battle going on here. High pressure blocking to the north and east, low pressure out to the west. So the GM today actually brings some slightly milder air in from the Atlantic around days 8, 9, 10. No intensification of a cold spell with the GEM today. And then the ECM looks like that. Again, the high pressure is dominating over Scandinavia on Tuesday. Winds in from the east through to the second half week and next weekend. I think that's turning colder as the low pressure gets pushed out into the Atlantic, more of a northeasterly flow. I reckon that would turn things cold, but not especially wintry next weekend. But I think temperatures would take a toll. There probably would be snow showers around those eastern southeast coast. Staying cold up to day 10 as well. High pressure still blocking over Scandinavia. Wind still coming in from the east. Also, my 10 cells iceberg has in fact arrived from the east, I should say, crossing Good Wales. So bitterly cold there at day 10 with the ECM. But extended range starts bringing milder air in from the Atlantic during the last week of the month. This is a precipitation forecast based on that ECM run. Into Metro.com, loads of cloud and dampness and rain and drizzle to come over the next few days. Things becoming a bit drier around the middle part of the week, and then as it starts to get colder, get some snow appearing in the west to the southwest there by the end of next week. And then just sort of dry weather, but will be very cold up to day 10. If we pick up more of an easterly wind, then we can start thinking about snow showers. These are the options on the table within the eastern ensembles today for day 10 from the ISO Met Office. Gets us to the 18th of February. 28 members of the ECM ensembles with blocking around Iceland and Greenland, low pressure to the south of it. Just trying to bring in some milder air from the south, but we could still have cold air sitting over and to the east of the country. They've got 23, creeping controlling the operational run. Big block around Greenland towards Scandinavia. Low pressure underneath it, And that's keeping things cold, maybe very cold, maybe bitterly cold to day 10. That does include the operational run. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. And it will get us to the 23rd of February. 21 members of the ECM ensembles bring back the Atlantic, so wet and windy but milder. 18 with low pressure getting in from the Atlantic, high pressure down to south, winds coming up from the southwest. That's going to be a little bit dry for the south but mild. And then we've got a mild structure 12, keeping it cold. High pressure remains in the Norwegian Sea, and winds continue to come in from the east then. And then CFS V2 finally, these are 500 millibar height anomalies broken down into a weekly period. The first week period takes us from the 8th to the 14th of February. High pressure remaining between Iceland and Scandinavia. Winds coming in from the east, so looking pretty cold. And then week 2 will be the 15th to the 21st of February. High pressure again around Greenland and Iceland. Low pressure is to the south. Winds continuing to come in from the east and from the northeast. That looks cold and wintry. Week 3 will be the 22nd, 28th February. This is a change of the CFS, keeping it cold into the 3rd week. High pressure around Greenland and Iceland. Again, winds continue from the east. And then finally, week 4 brings back milder weather. It's the 1st to the 7th of February. March, I should say. First week of March turns milder. Low pressure to the north, high pressure to the south, and we bring in the wind from off the Atlantic in a westerly direction. So that's back to milder conditions, but it's 4 weeks away. And before then, it's looking generally cold. I think, after 3 weeks of cold weather, we'll be thankful for a bit of milder weather maybe by the start of March. But we shall see about that. Long way off, and we've got a lot to get through. And we can't really look any further than Thursday at the moment, to be honest. And whether we are going to see intensification of the cold spell. But I certainly wouldn't rule it out. Very, very interesting model watching at the moment. I think this is one of the most interesting winters we've had for a long time. Maybe 2017-18, maybe 2020-2021. Depending on how this develops, it might be the most interesting spell of model watching, for many years. So let me know in the comments what you think. Anyway, we're done. If you've enjoyed the video, please can you like, share, and subscribe. Thanks so much everyone for doing that. Drop a comment. Let's know think about this and all of our videos and content. And don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids. Get them to subscribe to. And thanks so much everyone for doing that. We're pushing on the grind to 20k. Right, tomorrow we're going to have a 6 AM UK weather forecast. Got the next update for spring, and of course we'll be live at 6 PM. We are taking a 14-dayer. Lots of interesting content to come tomorrow. But for today's videos, that's all for now. And thanks for watching.